Actually, let's do this more. Hey guys, how's it going? So I recently was looking through my YouTube recommendeds, and I saw a video that was made by the YouTuber Slow B. And somebody in my server, I think, also posted it to there, and I saw it there as well. I don't know if it's because I was mentioned by name in that video or not, but the video was congratulating. It was like a self Q&A thing that she was doing for hitting 10K. By the way, congratulations. But in that video, one of the things that she does is that she was going through and talking about her favorite Fate servants that she, like, has, right? And I saw that, and I thought to myself, that's a really good idea, and I want to do that too. So, I'm openly stealing your idea. Thank you for coming up with it. I think I've actually done something like this in the past. I think it was with the Grailed servants, though. Not favorite servants. I don't know if I've ever talked about my favorite servants. Yeah. So, yeah, what today's going to be all about, or at least for this little first part of the stream, we are just going to be going through and talk about who my favorite characters in Fate are. I'm sure that some of you who've been on the channel for a while have an idea of who's going to be on this. A lot of people already know what my character biases are, and that tends to be dogs and disorders. I'm not sure exactly why that's the case, but I don't know. Dog girl's better than cat girl. Also, I think there's only one guy. I think there's only one man on this list. So I'm going to give you the chance right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, pause the video. Write down who you think my top 10 favorite characters in the entire Fate franchise are. I guess Fate servants, not characters, but Fate characters are. Oh, but before you do that, do know I am not including people like MASH, and I'm not including Olga. I adore both of those characters, and honestly, they could be both ranked pretty high on this list, but quite frankly, I feel like it's cheating because those are human characters in the story that are in it significantly more than servants are. They're way more fleshed out, even though they have so much more like depth to them that I feel like including them is like it feels like cheating. Like Olga is, of course, going to be like a top 3 character because of how much depth that she's got, and also just fucking look at her. You know what I mean? So, for the sake of not just filling in those 2 slots with the easy choices, I'm just going to keep them off the list, right? It should be no surprise to anyone that, like, oh, Klidge likes Olga. Like, of course I like Olga. Who does not like Olga? You know what I mean? So, let's get into it, shall we, fellas? So, my first pick is a character. Who do you think my first pick is, chat? Just out of curiosity. This is going to be, I should probably let people know. Pretty much 10 through 3. 10 through 3 are in no particular order, but 3, 2, and 1 are all in an actual order. 3, 2, and 1 are my number 3, number 2, and number 1 favorite characters in Fate. But 10 through 4 are kind of like... they're kind of like their own thing. They're all mentally tied for me, right? So, let us go into number 10, shall we? Number 10 is Abby. Goddamn, I love Abby. Everyone on this list is fighting for 4th place from 10 to 4, but Abby is number 1 in my heart for a lot of reasons. I've been a big fan of the Foreigner class since forever. I'm a diehard Lovecraft fan, and I used to have such a fucking heavy book. I would carry this 10-pound Lovecraft book around with me. It had an octopus on the cover, and it was awesome. And I would take it everywhere with me. I'd read it all throughout college. People probably thought I was a freak, and it was great. I love Abby's history. It's so weird and murky with her having ties to eldritch entities, and it's a really fun way to kind of like have a spin on the Salem witch trial thing. The whole region of America, for people outside of it that don't really know what that like part, like that eastern seaboard is called, it's called Lovecraft country because there's so much weird, deeply ominous nonsense that happens in the Atlantic Ocean and all the little towns that are around it. All of that, like, H.P. Lovecraft looked at all that and was like, there has to be some absolute eldritch deities in that area. You know what I mean? Had to have. Abby as a character kind of rides this really kind of fun line between being my daughter and then being my daughter, but who's also fucked up and evil. It's really kind of cool to see how they balance that concept of possession, like where she is being possessed by Yog-Sothoth, but more so in a way that it's like drawing out an innate part of her that wants to be evil anyway. That's like the witchcraft part of her. Yeah, I just think it's great. I think they do a good job whenever they have Abby around. Also, the balance between the real Abby and the one that's like kind of just like function that we have that's... So if you don't really know the story, the Abby that we have in Chaldea is not really Abby. It's a fake Abby, technically. The real Abby is still around and like sometimes pops in to see and do things, but like for the most part, she's kind of just like observing things. Like her soul is wandering the cosmos right now, assumedly like fighting space crime. Yeah, I don't know. It's really fun. I think it's a really interesting idea that they do with her. And she was one of my first level 100s in a character. I'm really glad that they use a good amount in the story. I think she shows up in OC2, which we're going to be going into here pretty soon. Like Abby a lot. That's my daughter. That's my baby. She my baby. So next up, number 9. Number 9 might actually come as a surprise to a lot of people. There's like a lot of characters that I end up talking about a lot on this channel, many of whom will probably show up later. But this next one is one I feel like I don't ever talk about. I never talk about her. I love her so much. She's one of my favorite characters for both like lore and design and so many things. I only really talk about her in one specific context. And I feel like I'm looking at the chat right now. Nobody guessed it right. It's not Kets, not Koji, not Cuckoo. No, none of them. It is, of course, the one and only. Oh, I had more pictures. I forgot about that. The one and only Shuten Doji. I don't know. Something about Shuten, she compels me. I'm, as many of you have probably picked up by my content on the channel, I'm a big Japanese folklore nerd. I'm a big folklore nerd in general, across all of the world. But Japanese folklore and like the yokai and stuff like that have always been like really interesting to me because they're so weird. I have like a whole mini series actually that exists that like 10 people have watched. There's no views on these videos, but I made 3 parts in this series of like all of the yokai that exist, like the 100 over. It's like over 100 yokai in these videos, and nobody watched them. Go watch. That's your homework right now. Go watch those videos. I really like that she's modeled after Aoi Yuki. I mean, she's one of my favorite voice actresses. She's drawn by Raida, who's one of my favorite Fate artists. And honestly, I really like that they give her an actual, like, monstrous personality, despite her being this, like, not even soft-spoken, like, sweet-voiced kind of, like, femme fatale-esque character. But then she also just does weird shit, like rip people's arms off and start eating them, or literally sticks her hands in your guts and starts rearranging them. In terms of, like, design, I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of Shuten's design. Short woman that can kill me is a good look. Her personality is, like, really sealing the deal for me. So, you know, she has this, like, air about her where regardless of the situation that you're in, you never really know what she's going to do. Like, you know that she's going to tease you or someone else. But is it going to be just for her own amusement, or is she going to, like, secretly be trying to help you? Shuten has such a strange fixture in Fate as being a character that we both trust and don't at the same time. She weirdly has one of the most solidifying moments. Weirdly, one of the most solidifying moments for me with her is that she unironically does rearrange your guts in Shimosa, which on the surface is horrible and horrific and really, like, damaging to you as a person. But it's being done in the story because she's trying to help you. Why does she do it like that? What the hell's her problem? Why does she do the things that she does? It's because she's literally a monster. Look at that top image of her. Horrible, horrible monster. Yeah, she's always doing these like weird, strange things, and it's like, I don't know. To me, it's very fun. Anytime Shuten shows up, I'm like, it's always a good time. I don't know. There's other characters that are like that. The ones that are just like, we can probably trust you, but she very, very likely could just show up and just kill you in one event because she felt like it. I think the only reason why she hasn't done it yet is because until we're still entertaining to her. As soon as we're not doing anything entertaining, she'd probably kill us. There's a couple of other characters like that, but Shuten is the one that I like the most, who's like that. So. Okay. As I mentioned prior, I kind of looked back on this list as I was making it, and I realized that it just looks like I'm waifu hunting. So the question becomes, am I just waifu hunting, or does this game just favor strong women leads? And honestly, it's kind of both. Well, regardless, number 8 is not a waifu. Number 8 is my boy Okada Izo. Izo is a character I have always sympathized with. He was never too bright, but was incredibly skilled at the one thing that he did, which was swordsmanship. But because he was only ever good with the swords, others didn't really want much to do with him, and so he was always treated as like something as an outcast. From the inside looking out, he was, and still is, the same as he was when he was a kid. Someone who was just fighting to get by and doing like the one thing that he knew how to make work. But when he went across, he went to from like a great asset to a liability, he kind of just got tossed to the side and killed, dubbed as a manslayer, just said, all right, this guy, we don't need him anymore. He was one of my favorites. He has one of my favorite like Valentine scenes, I think, in the entire game. He might have the best like male Valentine scene, which is where he is just like hanging out with you, and then he just gets trashed, and you get to like hang out with him as he's hung over, and he's like reminiscing about the old days with Sakamoto before Sakamoto became too big for his britches. And then he kind of, he kind of blames Ryoma for like abandoning him to die, but really deep down he's still just kind of like a kid. He's like, I don't want to actually hate this guy. I want things to just go back to the way that they are. So even though Ryoma's wife bullies him in Chaldea, he just is like, I don't know. I think he's living his best life. Also, design-wise, just murder hobo samurai man is so good. I like that he's just like a sopping wet dog of a character. Bro is like a drunk hobo, and I love it. I love all of the art that we get of him with the dogs, because even the guy who draws him, which is, I believe it's Lack, also realizes that he's just a dog in human clothing. He's just so good. He is just such a good character. His character writing is immaculate. I really wish that he wouldn't just get relegated so often to being, oh, this is Oreo's punching bag. You know what I mean? I really wish that they would do more with, that they would just do more with him when Gouda Gouda rolls around. Because either he's, really, really compelling, or he's just, a side character. And it's kind of I don't know. I wish they would do more. So, number 7. Chat, who is my number 7 pick? Do you know? Can you guess? Oh, he'll probably get a 5-star version eventually. He's one of the most grailed servants ever. So, we're gonna move back a step, okay? We're going to go from what I would describe as one of the best designed... We're going to go... we're going to talk about one of the best designed characters that I think exist in Fate as a whole. Genuinely. Maybe the singular... one of the singular best Fate designs in there in terms of both gameplay and character design. I'm sure somebody said Riku, but it's not Riku. It is, in fact, good old Van Gogh. We love Goey in this chat. I have a very, very, I would say, a good deep dive lore video on her, so check that out. It's to see why I love her so much. But to reiterate, Go is perfect in every way. She has this kind of goofy, low self-esteem personality where she tries to hide everything behind jokes, but this is just a mask to hide that she is constantly afraid. She's living in this weird, perpetual, terrifying existence of having the memories of the artist Vincent van Gogh, the original personality and body of the nymph Clytie, and mixed in there for a nice little bit of spice is this plant deity from Mars called Volthune, who may or may not be trying to use Van Gogh to breach into our reality. The nice little linchpin here is the connection to plants between all of these characters, or more specifically, sunflowers, which, if you aren't aware, sunflowers are my favorite flower, and I've even incorporated Van Gogh's design into my VTuber with this pin. Have any of you guys ever noticed that? Has anybody ever noticed this? Somebody probably has. My little Van Gogh pin here. Yes, because you mentioned it. Fair. Yeah. No, I love it. You mentioned when you first got this. That was like 2 years ago. Good job remembering. You guys got to remember, that was 2 years ago, and I don't remember things. Very good. Very well. So... yeah, obviously, I really like Van Gogh. I love sunflowers. I genuinely love sunflowers. They are my favorite flower. They're heliotropes. Yeah, but for some of the people on YouTube, I bet that you never noticed. Yeah, once again, that Lovecraft influence does a lot for me. Although Volthune, should be noted, is not a Lovecraft original. He came after. But also, I just kind of really like a character that is doing their best all the time and trying to remain themselves. I don't want to reiterate everything that she said, but Slow B, who also had Van Gogh on her list, made some really great points about having this kind of identity crisis of not knowing who she is, and that being relatable for a lot of people. And I totally get that as well. I really enjoy the personal journey we see her go through in finding herself, and really hope that there's like more to that in the future. And also, just a nice little reminder. This is just a nice little reminder for everybody here. In case you were wondering, I can promise you right now that I know exactly what Van Gogh smells like. That sounds like a weird thing to say, right? But I know exactly what Van Gogh smells like. And if you want to recreate this smell, it's actually very easy. It's incredibly easy. Van Gogh smells like stale coffee, cigarettes, and oil paints. And the reason I know that is because Van Gogh, the historical Van Gogh, would lock himself in his attic and all he would do is smoke, drink coffee, and paint. And this Van Gogh as well, as I believe confirmed in her interlude, does the exact same thing, although I'm not sure if she can get her hand onto cigarettes because she's like 14. You know what I mean? I don't know, Chaldea's a weird place. She's talking to Sherlock and getting into his secret stash, I'm sure. Yeah, she and Izo actually probably smoked together. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, yeah, we love Van Gogh in this chat. She is one of my favorite characters ever for so many reasons. But we're not going to be walking into the more obvious territory for everyone that's been following this channel or my streams. In fact, all but one of the characters I'm about to list are either at 120 or are on their way to 120. And that one character who isn't going there yet, I am waiting for a very specific thing to happen before I am going to 120 them. So, this next person is, of course, Gareth. I love Gareth. I love everything about Gareth. This is quite literally the most huggable character in the entire game. Just on design alone, when she was first announced on JP, I decided I was going to take her to 100 immediately. And this was before 120ing was a thing. And you know what? She could have been the most evil, unforgivable characters to ever appear with the most dogshit, godforsaken kit on the planet, and I still would have done it. And I got lucky because she has a good kit, a great personality, and is one of the most endearing characters in the entire game. She perhaps encapsulates the dog girl vibe better than anyone else on this list, save for maybe one other person. She's incredibly loyal to a fault, she's sweet, she's protective, and she's affectionate. Her first reaction to meeting new people is a smile and a warm greeting, despite everything terrible that happened to her in her life, with her 100% having every reason in the world to be angry and vengeful, and having her head caved in by a French cuckold gone mad on lust. She still meets with the future with a smile, and her overwhelming optimism, to me, is contagious, and I would die for her. I love her so much. She's perfect. A perfect character. Her Lost Belt 6 appearance, even though that's not technically Gareth, still amazing. Anytime that she shows up, absolutely amazing. Puts a big smile on my face every time. I love her with all of my being. She deserves the world and more. God, she's such a perfect character. Okay, well, we're gonna move on now to the opposite end of the spectrum. We're going to have someone who is still cute, but kind of occupies this secret third category of character that I didn't mention before, which is horror. Horror characters. If you don't know, I love horror. The horror genre is probably my favorite, genre of movie to watch. I love it so much. I make a lot of horror movie references in these streams. Constantly. Love it so much. Most of you know where I'm going with this. This is the only character in the entire game that actually has a dedicated jump scare to her, and I am of course talking about Sen no Rikyu. This is one of those characters that I kind of fell in love with on design alone immediately. I go back and forth between Rikyu, Benny Enma, and Nidochris Alter on who is my favorite character design in all of Fate, but I think Rikyu honestly takes it more often. I love the horror of the design. I love the concept of her being a fusion of two souls that were both killed for innocuous reasons and finding comfort in one another. I love that they have this whole dynamic of actual Sen no Rikyu being a diehard traditionalist, while Komahime wants to be a modern teenage girl, and it's all woven together so well that even with their limited appearances, they are so incredibly fleshed out. It's just one of the best designed characters in the entire game. I love everything about them. I could do an entire video just gushing about how masterful the design on them is. I think I actually have a video like that written up, and I've just never made it. I may have actually put it out there. I don't remember. It was when she came out. She is just such a immaculately made character on every single level. I love her so much. It's painful how much I care about this character. She's perfect. Absolutely immaculate. I'm slowly but surely working on getting her up to 120. She's going to get there after the rats. Currently, the rats are taking priority on that. So, our next character is going to be the only one that I have not got on their way to 120 yet. I'm kind of I'm going to get around to it. She's one of my favorite characters. Has always been one of my favorite. She was one of my favorite characters before I saw her in Fate Grand Order. And I've really just liked her on design alone for so long, and then I got to actually, you get to interact with her, and she's so much better and is fantastic. Love her to death. I am, of course, talking about Tamamo no Mai. Yes. Tammy is the superior Fate Extra waifu. Suck it, Nero fans. I love everything that they do with her. She is both the good wife and ravenous predator, which is a really, really fun dynamic that they kind of like fuse together. She has God knows how much repressed trauma stored within herself and tries to do everything in her power to hide it, and I think that's incredibly, like, well executed with her. And so, hey, funny story. I have a funny little side tangent for y'all about Tamamo in particular. Way back in 2018, I used to live in an apartment and had only one piece of anime merch to my name. It was a Nendoroid of Serval from Kimono Friends. Goated anime, by the way, highly recommend. A buddy of mine wanted to get me a gift, and so he bought a Tamamo figure off of Amazon and had it sent to my address. And those fuckers lost it. Gone. Never heard from again. We never saw it. It was just gone. No tracking, no refund. It was just vanished. They wouldn't do anything about it. Fast forward to the year 2023. I'm now living in Japan, and I see that they're selling Tamamo plushes. The ones that kind of look like Fumos, but aren't Fumos. I order one for myself, and the date rolls around, and lo and behold, it didn't get delivered either. Turns out, they canceled my order for it, and I missed the window, so that one didn't get sent either. And to this day, I don't have any Tamamo merch because the post office refuses to connect me to my fox wife. I do, though, have a Koyan Skya plushie, which is the one thing I've got. And you know what? Here, chat, you want to see it? Here. How's it going? There you go. This is the one Tamamo. This is not a bean. This is a full plush. Yeah, this is the one quote-unquote Tamamo merch that I have. And I love it. It's really cute. I adore it. I'm gonna turn off everything so that I don't get sidetracked. Brother does it to himself. Leave me alone. This is going to be an edited video originally, and there's just going to be a picture of me strangling that Tamamo plush, which I might still put into, like, I might just post it on Twitter. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I've been trying to get Tamamo merch forever, and the post office keeps losing it. It's gone forever, and I'm so unbelievably sad about it. I need a Tamamo, and I can't find him anywhere. I have a Nero bride figure, because there was one available, but I cannot for the life of me just find Tamamo merch in the wild, and at this point, I'm too scared to try and order it online. Like, once is a coincidence, twice is a problem. And I'm like, I'm not willing to take that gamble. So, my one condition for possibly grailing her in the future is she needs to get her buff. I'm banking on it happening this year. If it doesn't, she's gonna have to keep waiting. But I love Tamamo. But it's genuinely superior waifu to Nero. Pat the fox wife, fluff the foxtail. Moving on. So, we now have my top 3 favorite Fate characters, and these are going to be going in ascending order. So, number 3 is Mordred. I've said this before, but I will say it again. My very first Fate series was Fate Apocrypha. And while I have some criticisms of it, I do not hate that series as much as the rest of the fan base seems to. Mordred is the star of the show in APOC. She has the best master-servant relationship in the show, and I really enjoy the dynamic between her and Kairi. And even all of that aside, weirdly enough, I relate to Mordred on a lot of things. I don't want to get too personal on this. Feeling like you aren't good enough even after trying everything and only getting a reaction after you lash out, and then it's your fault, is like... Artoria is one of the worst anime fathers, and I don't give a shit what any of y'all say. Oh, she was evil and gonna cause the fall of Camelot. Oh, fuck off. I bet you got 3 meals a day during your childhood with snacks, bitch ass. Anyways, Mordred's arc of realizing that she didn't even know who she was in her fight, in her fight throughout FGO and APOC to make an identity for herself independent of Artoria is really genuinely fun to see. She deserves all of the love in the world. Tomboys reign supreme. Speaking of figures, she was one of my first anime figures ever. I still have that one. I might take a picture, post it on Twitter as well. Mordred is perfect. Tomboys beat everything. Artoria was a shitty dad. I don't give a fuck what any of y'all say. Amazing character, one of the best written characters in all of Fate. Fuck off if you think Artoria is a good father. So next up, we have, to the shock of absolutely no one, and the surprise of absolutely no one, of course, is Barghest. Of the entirety of the Lost Belt 6 crew, I believe that Barghest is the best written secondary character. Castoria takes the best written because it's her story, but Barghest is right below that for me. Bargy is a secondary side character. Castoria, Morgan, etc., those are main characters. Bargy is the definition of loyalty. Big dog means big personality. She rides that really, really fine line between being a ruthless warlord and also being oomph. I love her characterization as being someone who has to constantly retain her bestial nature, so she became as sophisticated as she possibly could. Anybody ever put that together? She's genuinely trying to push back against the fact that she's a horrible monster by becoming the exact opposite of what that is by being incredibly sophisticated. That didn't just happen. That was a genuine choice of hers. Aiming to be more human to suppress the animal within her is like her whole deal. I love that she's incredibly protective of others, sticking her neck out for anyone who she deems weaker than her, which is everybody. And then this particular image, wait, what? Oh yeah. This particular image is one of my favorite things to ever exist. I don't normally go for like the Ojo-sama rich girl gimmick, but they execute it really well with Barghest because she has that really, really, really good balance. This isn't even getting into her design. Big woman. She can and will eat you, which is hot. There's just something very endearing about a giant Labrador of a woman who is always, always trying her best. Love her to death. And just immaculate character. So good. Big woman. Her muscles grow so much. Her muscles grow. She's becoming stronger. I adore her. Perfect, genuinely perfect character in every way. It's like, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna save some words I want to say for a different thing. So I don't want to have people calling for me to be fucking noosed for some of the comments I could be making. Anyway, love Barghest, absolutely perfect. And then to the further utmost shock of absolutely nobody, my number one favorite Fate servant in all of the whole franchise is... Can you guess it, chat? Who could it be? Who could Klidge's favorite Fate character be? I wonder who this could possibly be. Yeah, it's Uchi. From her design, to her personality, to her gameplay, to her silly little Tengu hat, Uchi is perfect. I'm a sucker for samurai themes, which she provides. I'm a sucker for loyal puppy-like characters, which she provides. But also, she just... I don't know. I just really like her personality. On the surface, Uchi comes off as almost cold. A killer and warrior who owes only thoughts about or his only thoughts are about taking the enemy's head. But then you dig a bit more into it and you learn that she has some pretty deep trust issues after being betrayed by the person that she trusted the most, which she ends up resolving in her own manifestation after Hey and Kyo. And then she wants to do her best and be useful, which is a very, very relatable trait, and then goes out of her way to do what she feels is right and just gets it all done. She is one of the oldest servants on my account. I think she is the third or fourth oldest servant on my account. I'll check that out later. She was my very first 120. I would take her even further if I could. Ushi is now and always will be my favorite Fate character. I don't think that's something that's ever going to change. Genuinely, every single character, every single time she shows up, she steals the show. I even like the fact that she has a rivalry with Maeve, who is an equally bloodthirsty warrior type person, but is like it's the difference between refined. It's like, what is it? Class. If you're rich, it's classy, but if you're poor, it's trashy. Ushi is like poor, trashy, like tomboyish, kind of like I'll fuck you up warrior, and Maeve is like classy, rich, I'll fuck you up, but they both fight dirty, and it's really kind of interesting, and I like that dynamic. I love everything about Ushi. My only gripe is her outfit. You know what? I can agree with that. Anytime that they give her like that like black latex thing that's underneath her instead of her bare clothing, I think that looks better most of the time. I'm not opposed to it. It's just like, it feels like it's trying to be like anime lewd-ish. But like Ushi's design, even like with that, it's just so it's just so good. I just love Ushi so much, man. I love Ushi so much. But what about you? Who are your favorite Fate characters? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again, and apologies to Slow B for stealing your idea, but hey, it was a good one, what can I say? Check out their vid. I will actually have that linked down below if you're watching this on YouTube. That way you can, go help get them to 20K now. Also, while you're down there, click on my link to the Tasha coffee page to get a discount on some delicious anime girl coffee. Additionally, we have the art contest going on right now. If you made it this far, then that means that you may be interested in potentially knowing somebody or submitting your own art for that contest for the chance to win a cash prize. So, go do that as well. For now, though, fellas, thanks for hanging out. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out, keep your chin up.